Okay, so first thing first is the theme for the writing. The theme for the writing. Okay, so for the summative test and also for the formative test, right? You are not going to write with free theme or free topics or free subject, but already decided. And these are the theme for your formative and then for your summative. Okay, for the formative and the summative must be a different theme. Okay, so there are eight here. There are eight themes. So you can choose two. One will be for formative, one will be for summative. Of course, I suggest that you choose the theme for the summative is the subject that you like best among all the themes, right? Okay. So first theme that you can choose, all right, is language. All right. So in language, you can compare and contrast two different languages. All right. Two different languages. All right. But no English, no Indonesian. Do not compare English versus French or English versus Spanish or Indonesian versus Spanish or Indonesian versus Mandarin or even English versus Indonesian. So English and Indonesians are excluded from the options. All right. So you can compare like Italian versus Spanish or with Asians. Yeah, if you go more global, like comparing European languages and Asian languages, also okay. But if you can also go specifically, like for example, Mandarin versus Malay, okay, or Mandarin versus Japanese or Korean, right? Okay, so two different languages. So you can talk about, for example, if you choose Mandarin, probably you can also talk about for the options here. All right, for the categories, okay, or for the details, you can talk, for example, about which country use that languages. All right, okay. I think there are some secondary international language like Mandarin is also used around Asia, for example, doing business around Asia. Okay, so you have to consider that. Or the grammatical rules, right? For example, if you compare Indonesian and English, for example, okay, because I don't do research for the other languages, so as an example, I use English and Indonesian. For example, is you compare English versus Indonesian. In English, you say blue car. So the word blue first, and then the word car, the adjective, and then the noun. But in Indonesian, it's not blue car, but car blue, right? Mobil biru, not biru mobil in Indonesian. So there's a different syntax, right? Different grammatical rules. So also you can compare, for example, in English, there are tenses, okay, but in Indonesian, no tenses, right? So you have to do research, okay, about the language features, all right? But don't research by typing Spanish versus French or Spanish versus Mandarin, because if you do that, you will find a comparative essay already done by another students around the world, right? Okay, so no, do not use that. If you use that, still you only take the details, not copying all sentences from that. All right. So remember, it's very important not to write the same sentences with the web, with the resource that you have. Must be your own sentences. And as a teacher, somehow I can guess if it's too suspicious, if it's too awesome there, the sentences, probably I would consider I would checking it in Google. Okay. All right. So if the exact sentence is there and then your writing is not original and can be considered cheating and can be considered as fail and then have to do the test again. All right. Second option is music. Okay. So any genre. Okay. Pop, hip hop. What else? Dangdut in Indonesia, right? Okay. But here comparing the music in the 90s versus the 20s. Okay. Yesterday there is a student who wrote in this option and then wrote very well as a formative though. Right? Awesome. Okay. So very good writing. Okay. Because of good research and also good practice, during the practice, follow the practice, do the practice well, should be no problem to do this. But if you don't really do the practice, the classwork practice together, and then the individual practice, you don't do it. So I believe that it will be difficult for you. All right. Okay. So you can talk about the 90s versus the 20s. So for example, you can ask the categories, for example, all right? I just want to give one because if I give three and then you just copy all the three then for you. So for example, is you can copy which kind of music is which kind of music genre, the genre of the music of popular. Probably in the 90s was love rock, okay, because I was in the 90s, so I knew like Guns N' Roses, John Bon Jovi, slow rock, and also heavy metal like Metallica and Spool to Ride. Well, many. But the 20s, I don't really know. Okay, probably 20. Some of Grenade or who's the singer? I don't know. Or Katy Perry? I don't know. Okay. So not really following the music in the 20s. It was in the 90s. So you can talk about that. Okay. Which kind of music, all right, and or you can talk about the musician life in the 90s and in the 20s, right? Okay, that is uh, another side, of course, but basically you talk about the music stuff, right? And I think you can also talk about the kind of music, the media in the 90s was CD, cassette, CD, all right, and then in the 20s now we can have file, MP3, Spotify, and then what else, all right? So something like that. So you can compare, okay, but that can be added, okay? There's another side of the feature, the music, but focus with the genre, all right? So what kind of music or the lyrics? What are the most themes in the 90s, right? Is it love? About the 20s or still about love? So you can find similarities already, right? Okay. And next is you can compare two different apps. So you can compare two different, doesn't have to be comparing Google Classroom versus Microsoft Teams or versus Zoom. Okay. Doesn't have to be educational app. You can also compare a games app. You can also compare business apps. Okay. So you can compare the apps. You can compare Google versus Bing, or you can compare Ruang Guru with, I don't know, another app besides Ruang Guru. Okay. All right. So that's uh, two different apps. And then if you like a literature study, you want to compare about novels, yeah, you can compare novels of the same title, all right? And then the category is the type of novel is the non-abridged novel versus abridged novel. So if you read a complete novel and then a shortened novel, okay, so the whole plot still there but shortened, okay, like a summary of the novel, okay. Okay, so what do you think about that? You can compare. Probably you can compare about the plot, how the plot is built in the bridge and that is in the non-abridged, and what could be missing there in the non-abridged, and then with the abridged, right? All right. So you can compare that kind of novel, but you must compare with the same title. Otherwise, you will not be able to see the differences if they are different titles. Okay. So those are the four theme that you can choose. And then the fifth one is business. All right, business. Two different business. Well, you can compare like online business versus offline business, or you can compare two different e-commerce like Lazada versus Blibli. All right, but in the type of in the context of the business itself. If in here in the apps, if you want to compare that apps, so only talking about the apps. For example, Shopee apps. Okay, probably which one loads faster, which one loads longer, which one has more easier space. So if you compare into the app sides, okay, and then this one is the business sides. All right, so the business itself, okay, which one is more popular, which one is giving more vouchers, for example, which one more discounts. All right, which one is more available things to buy. So that's business. Or again, offline business, online business, or automotive business, selling cars versus selling motorcycles. All right, or selling bicycles. During the pandemic, it was selling bicycle was a hype, right? Okay, so that's business, everyone. So which one would be in your heart to write? So you begin to think, right? You begin to plan. Remember, the theme for the formative and the summative must be different. So eight theme, you can choose two then. One for formative and one for... Okay, theme number six. Okay, option six. Choice number six is subject in life. All right. So think of two subjects in school that you think is most applicable or can be used or very useful in your daily life. What do you think? Two different subjects. Is it English versus math, for example, or English versus social study, or science versus math, or PE versus music? Okay, whatever the subject that you choose. So think about the most applicable subject. Why you think it's most applicable? And remember to set the tone of the writing, whether you are going to give details only, comparison only, or you already have your choice and then you want your reader to agree with you. Hmm. Okay, so think about that, right? So two different subjects at school. Sir, I don't like all subjects. I'm sure you have at least two subjects that you like. All right. Okay. Of course, you can compare English in this case, right? If you think English is more applicable, all right? Yeah, at least you know, right? The menu in the English in the apps in your game because mostly in English, or when you communicate with the work players, so you can communicate. So applicable, right? Okay. But if it's too easy to compare English, so maybe you can compare another more challenging subject. Okay, now we're still in this pandemic of COVID-19. So the seventh theme that you can choose is handling COVID-19 in two different countries. Okay, Indonesia can be included. You can compare how the Indonesian government deal with COVID-19. You can talk about handling COVID from the beginning, or in the beginning only, or from the beginning until now. Ah, all right. So if you compare from the beginning until now, probably it's gonna be a longer essay then, right? Okay. So handling COVID-19. All right. If you or you want to compare as European versus Asia, for example, okay, that would gonna be much broader, right? If you compare continent like that, or just countries, then easier, right? Okay, Indonesia versus Malaysia, Indonesia versus Singapore, or Indonesia versus China, or United States versus China. All right. Okay, most mentioned countries during COVID-19. All right. Okay, and then the last choice is segregation, guys. What is segregation? Segregation is uh, anti-social status, anti-racial, anti-religion, anti-based on gender or ethnicity. So, for example, in India, okay, in India, there are still social status in India. So not rich versus poor, but social status, the rank. They have ranks there. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Brahma rank. The Brahma status is the higher rank, and then lower, lower, lower until the, let's say, the poor people, the lowest people is the lowest. So they also have different treatment for different social status. Okay, ethnicity, gender. For example, in Arab countries, even though they are not changing, in Arab countries, gender issue happens because of their religion. For example, women cannot work. Women must stay at home and then must ask permission to husband anytime they leave the house. So that's gender issue related with religion also. Okay. Or religion, religion issue. Probably, for example, for the Muslim can have their practice, while another religion cannot have that practice or anything like that. Okay, because this is a very sensitive issue to talk about Indonesia, so we exclude Indonesia in this writing. All right. So if you choose segregation, so no Indonesian discuss. All right, racial, for example, is even in England, there's still racial issues there. Okay, so like the black players, so they are bullied, either in the field or in the social media, right? Racial or ethnicity, for example, it happens also in the Nazi time where the Jews cannot enter a certain restaurant, right? In the Nazi time. All right, so that's the segregation, guys. Or if you take a bus there, the black people cannot sit if there are the white people enter the bus. So the black people must stand and then give the white people racial and also ethnicity. So if you want to compare that, so it's gonna be good, right? Okay, is that positive thing with segregation? I don't think so. I think it's really bad, right? Because even God Himself forbid segregation, right? Okay, even Jesus crossed all this segregation in His time, right? All right. Okay, so those are the 8 themes that you can choose for the writing. All right. Later, this will be this in the week 4 folder. All right. Okay. If you have any questions, anyone?
Sir, what's the 1, 2, 3 thing? The
Yeah.
list.
1, 2, 3, that's the category, right? One example, for example, the grammatical rules or, where the languages are used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one is the compare and contrast later on. Okay, the items. Okay, no more questions? Yeah, okay.
Sir,
Yeah,
so we pick one of them to make the comparison, right?
yes.
Okay,
Pick
thank you, sir.
one of them.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, sir.
So you can pick 2 of them because one is for the formative and then one is for the summative, right? All right. No more questions? Clear explanation? Okay, good. Let's see, the next one is the rubric, everyone. All right, this is the formative later after the rubric. Okay, now is the rubric. Okay, I want to go directly to this one, organization and structure, even though it is the second in the rubric, but it is the first actually. This is the main part. Remember when I explained that if this organization is wrong and then the whole writing is wrong, right? What is this organization? Is the writing styles, all right? Remember, you have to choose one of the styles, okay? Block method or point to point or point by point method. All right. So you have to choose one of them and make sure that you write based on this styles principle. All right. If you need to review, the video is already available in the link. There is a video there in the link, so you can review again the explanation, my explanation. Actually, the same explanation with my explanation in the previous week meeting, right? When we learn about these styles. Okay, so this is very important, guys. So you must break the information into block similarities to differences or point to point structure. All right. Okay. And then remember that in this style, the consistent order, remember, okay? The consistent order, A, B, A, B, A, B all the time, all right? A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, okay? So consistent order, not consistent order, so it will be here directly, guys. So many details are not in logical or expected order. It means the order is wrong, all right? Okay, and then there is a little sense that the writing is organized. So it will be here that if you don't put one of the styles here, the block or point to point or point by point. Okay. Okay, so that is important, even though that is that seconds in this rubric. All right. Okay. So remember to pick the writing style. Okay, and then review the video if you need to be refreshed. And then is the purpose and the supporting details. All right. So remember again, the purpose of the writing can be just giving details, okay, giving comparison, or giving details based on your choice. Okay. Your choice, for example, is online business is better than offline business. So you give details there. All right. Okay. And then, yeah, the point specific example to illustrate comparison. So give a specific example. We practice this already. Automatically, specific information is given. For example, when you talk about the price, so you give detail. Oh, the gasoline is this much per barrel. And then if you use electricity, I don't know whether when we practice with electricity is in your class or in another class. Okay, I forgot what we practice as a class for 9C, which topic. But yeah, so give details, all right? If it's KFC versus McD, and then you tell the menu, the details menu in KFC and then in McD, okay? All right, so give details, okay? I just focus with this one, guys, with this one, all right? With the best one, okay? Because I want you to reach this one, not to reach this one, all right? Okay, if you focus with this one, and then you will be around here, your score. And the range is not too high, not too far. The range only 1 point range, so 24 to 25. Okay, even though this is subjective, so probably the same teacher seeing the same, different teachers seeing the same essay. Probably one teacher will say 24, probably the other one will say 25. Okay, it's very possible. That's why to limit the range is only one. Okay, so not too much difference. Okay, so that is the purpose and supporting details. All right, give details. That's why you have to do research because the details must be based on the fact. All right, okay. But when you do research, remind you again not to copy the whole sentence from your research. All right, you must write your own sentence. Okay. Next is the connectors. All right, this is updated, guys, to before. All right. So for the connectors, remember to use 5 of comparison and 5 of contrast connectors. All right, and then don't forget to highlight them. Okay. Okay, already given in the instruction. Okay, actually. Right, highlight them with 2 different colors. Okay. The essay moves smoothly from one idea to the next, uses connectors. So if the sentence is actually good, but no connectors at all, So probably your score will be here. Okay. If no connectors at all, so even will be 18 there automatically. Okay. Because actually the rubric says here the connectors may fit the requirement but are often misused. Okay. It should be although, but you type despite, for example. So that is wrong, right? So misuse connectors. All right. But if no connectors at all, so it still goes here. Okay. Goes to the lowest because the lowest is 18. All right. And don't forget this one, guys, because in the previous class with the highlight, they forget. Okay, so I hope Nancy, no one forget. Okay, the last part is, of course, this is language, so there should be grammar. Okay, grammar, spelling, and conventions on word count. At least is 150 words, guys. Right? At least it's 150 words for the writing, at least. But previously, mostly 300. They make 300 because they compare three, right? Three options, three features, three categories. Yeah, that's why if you write less than 150, so I think the comparison is not really good then. Okay, for the grammar, makes 1 to 3 grammar, okay, still 24 to 25. But 2 to 3 probably will be 24. One grammar mistake will be 25. Right? Now, uh, the grammar there, grammar, spelling, and also word count, right? So if the word count itself less than 150, so it will be automatically here, 18, right? Less than 150. Okay. And then if no writing style, also 15, 18, and then it will affect it will affect the purpose and supporting details. Because of course the supporting details will be in the incomplete, right? Okay, because it's already wrong writing style. Okay, so if that's why again this one is the main menu. If this is 18, the other will be automatically 18. This one will be 18, and also this one will be 18 also. Okay, because it's already in the not good logic based on academic writing of comparative essay. Right? Okay, so for grammar here is general grammar. All right, so wrong connectors not included in this section, not included, but that's already in this section for the connectors. So this one is grammar in general, like to be, using to be, am is are, like they are, okay, not they is, or I am, not I is, not I are. Okay, includes also plural, like two cars should be, not two car, okay, must be two cars, right, with S. Or also present tenses, okay, he goes, not he go, or tenses, he go to school yesterday, wrong, should be he went to school yesterday, right? So all grammatical error is counted as one, right? The same grammar counted as different, okay? Each grammar counted as one, even though it's the same type of grammar, but more mistake in the same grammar, so counted as more, all right? Include spelling. Okay. So for example, fog, you type fog, for example, it should be F-O-G, and then but you type F-O-double-G, for example. So this wrong. So that's counted as one also for spelling. So be careful with the spelling. All right. Make sure no mistakes. So make sure to review your writing. Maybe there is a typo there. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's for the rubric, everyone, for the formative and then the summative. But for the summative will not be scored like 90 or 20 or 100. But for the formative will only be evaluated, check whether you already meet all the items for the writing. Like you have theme, you have topic, you have options, details, you have the writing styles, and then you have the highlight and so and so and so. And then will be just marked as pass but no score. Okay. Yeah, because formative not scored in the context for the report, right? But for readiness for the summative test. Okay, that is for the rubric, everyone. Is there any questions? I still have 6 minutes before you start the formative, and that will be enough for explaining the formative and the summative. Okay, if you know have no question. If you have questions, just raise hand and speak up. All right, the last one is the formative and the summative. Okay, yeah, this one. Lagging. Yeah, this one. Okay. So if for the formative, you just write the writing here, okay? You just write here, continue with the writing here, okay? For the formative. But for the summative, for the writing will be on a piece of paper, okay? In a school test paper or a folio paper or in A4 paper already printed with lines already in the A4, okay? But for the concept, the writing concept, just do in the file, even for summative. Okay, for summative, only the essay in a different paper will be printed. For 9C will be when? Wait. Oh, 9C will be Friday, so we are already on site. Okay, so you will be ready for the paper then. Okay, let's see one again. Okay, so make sure you choose the theme. Okay, write the theme here is language, it's novel. Okay, and then the topic is what? Okay, what is the topic? Comparing what? All right, and then the categories. What are the theme? Price, popularity, availability, facilities, and performance. Okay, and then the writing styles here. Don't forget to write the writing style. Okay, is it the block method, point by point method, or point to point method? The same, okay? And then the research, guys, at least you paste the link here, okay? You must have the link, all the research that you have, all the details that you have, okay? Paste them there, okay? And then after that, you continue writing. For formative, everything in this file, all right? And then here is the instruction, choose the theme given in week four folder. I don't know whether I have copied to your folder or not. If not, I will copy after this. And then the theme that you have chosen for the formative cannot be used again for the summative task. Based on the theme you choose, decide the topic, subject to compare, do research to get details of the subject, list your resources in the outlines. Okay, at least the links. Begin to write the essay in this paper also for formative, in a different paper for the summative. In the essay, decide the writing style to use. Write in 150 words at least. All right. So you can write more. Use 5 comparing and 5 contrasting connectors. So 10 connectors altogether. All right. And then highlight the connectors. Use different colors for comparing. For example, for comparing is this one. And then for contrasting is this one. All right. And then write your own sentences. This is very important, everyone. Write your own sentences. Do not copy the sentences from the web. From the web, only the details. Okay. All right. To close this, just a little review again, a little reminder for the purpose and the details of the writing. Okay. I don't know whether I have explained to you. If not, so pay attention already. So follow this as a review. Okay. So in the purpose of the writing here, we have the yellow type is the giving details only. That's why this is the topic sentence. There, only giving details. I have some details that will help you decide. So also in the paragraph, okay, in the main points, also based on giving details only, compare and contrast of the two subjects. Okay. And then after that, if you have a different purpose, if the topic sentence is like this, then there are several reasons why I believe KFC is the best choice for fast food lovers. Because comparing KFC and McD, you actually you want the readers to believe and to agree with you that KFC is better. So the topic sentence is like this. There are several reasons why. And if the topic sentence or the purpose is to make the readers agree with your choice, so also here you have to tell more or can be clearly seen that you are choosing KFC. And that will affect the closing, right? So here in the closing is giving the readers then to decide because the writing is only giving details, right? So from reading this writing, which fast food restaurant would be your choice? But if you are choosing KFC and you want them to choose like you, so the closing can be like this. Based on my review, so I can decide that KFC is the best choice, right? That's why here review again the items or the details of the two things that you share. All right. That is for the explanation, for the writing, for the formative, and also the summative. I hope that is clear. Is there any question? If not, we are getting ready for the formative then. Any questions? No? All right.